Hello there guys, welcome back to another live stream. My name's Mike, aka Decimal Punked, and we are in Unreal 5.5.4. They're going to be doing two things this stream. The first one's a big one. It's going to be blocking out a kind of medieval grey box from start to finish. It's going to just be purely functional, just to test traversal and get a feel for the level. So we're just going to be using the geometry tools to just put objects in the scene. And then we're going to be working on the HUD. So as you can see at the moment, we've got the HUD top left. I'm going to be adding on two icons to the HUD. Which are going to be character abilities. I might actually do that first because they're fairly straightforward. So if I just go into the UI, because I mean it's technically assets. So we've got AI, audio. If I do it in UI, because it is UI, and if I do a new folder called art, I'll just call it art. Now I've used Adobe Firefly just to create temporary placeholder icons for the abilities. I will be doing these myself, creating these myself over the coming weeks. But just for the time being, I just got it to create me two cool looking icons. And then I'll swap those out in the coming weeks. So if we go to the HUD, so we've got the HP bar here. Now we are going to be having a player icon. What I might actually do is I might just actually size. If we go 50-50, phone a friend. So, okay. We want that to kind of be portrait. That's 100 by 100, yeah, so that needs to be, if I go 100.5, yeah, so that needs to be 100. So if that's the health bar, that would be the portrait, so icons, ability icons. Feels like they should be... So this is going to be a picture of the player character. Icons. If I have the abilities just beneath that. It's going to need to be a progress. It's going to be a progress bar. Okay. So if I get my image, if we go for the ground slam, image, there we go, image. We want it to be size to content. Why is that? Hold on. I want that to be, just bear with me guys. I don't know why I did size to content. Okay, so that's quite small. Obviously, that's quite a detailed image. What I do is I go 75, 75. 70, 70. I think it would look better if they're beneath player characters. See, I'd like these icons down the bottom, but it feels it makes sense to have them kind of up the top. Just need to think about the layout of those. You wouldn't want it dead center of the frame. what might be nicer is if there was like a frame that held the images. So if we had the health bar at the top, we can have the abilities beneath. So portrait. So if I get another image, and we'll call this frame ability, and then we can put that beneath there, and it would Y. So what was that? That was 70. So if I go 70 on that, and then 30, 31, 30. That looks spot on. Cool. And then let's go 30 on the Y with that. Maybe 32. If we go 30, if we shrink that down to 65, 65, we'll go there. Border. I'm pretty sure. Oh. Why didn't I just do that? Oh, you numpty. No. There we go. Right, we need to make that... is it 65? 65 I went for, I think. It's inheriting the... If we put that there, what was it? It was 30, I think, wasn't it? Pretty sure that was 30. Position 0, 30. Yeah, size on the Y 30, so yeah. And then if that's 100, that position would be 100. Yeah, perfect. So if we were to get this to be the size of that, so 30 off of 170, so this would need to be 70, 70. Perfect. And then to cater for the additional, so the image is that. Now I've got my other project open, my Unity project, where I've already programmed abilities with cooldowns. So once we've got the HUD UI elements in there, we'll come into Unity, look at the code, replicate that for Unreal. Right, so the fill image is going to be ground slam. I'm sure there was a percent. There we go. Right, so image, and it's going to be top to bottom. Where is the percent? There it is. Right, so it's going to go bottom to top. So the fill image is that, but the... Why is it going blue? Oh. Oh, that's funny. Very funny. It's like, why is it going blue? Percent. Okay. So, what we want to do is on this one, we're going to want to make it kind of grayed out. So, or saturated. We want to make it no, we don't want that. Just want to saturate it. The background for his image. We just want it to be saturated. Red, green, blue, alpha. We don't want to make it invisible. That's a little bit annoying, isn't it? Adjustments, okay. Alright, I've got an idea. What we'll do is if we copy that, we'll call this charged, and we'll call this one uncharged, and then on the uncharged, we'll... That's so annoying. You would think in the options for the in here, you'd think the set, you know, ridiculous. Anyway, it's all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this one in there. Alright, so on here, when we charge, it goes in colour. Just like that. So it goes, that looks pretty cool. And I think, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the default, the frame itself is actually like a metal colour. So when it's saturated, it doesn't actually change. Like you can actually see here between the two, you can see there's barely any difference. So it's really nice that the section that is in colour actually looks pretty awesome. Right, so percent. So sorry. Right, so now we've got the offensive ability. We're gonna... Oh, hold on. No, sorry. Compile, save. Save the project. Copy, paste. Dude. Copy, paste. And then... Oh, you're joking. It can only take one child. Bro. That's annoying. Alright, so... is what it is. So 130. So if we go 200, oh, so if that one's position Y, so that'd be 170 then, wouldn't it? Because it's 170. There we go. And then this is defensive, so if I just label this to charge, call it charged. I'm gonna rename it to lunge. Actually, I'm gonna call it... No, let's leave it as charged because it is kind of a charged. I know that's confusing, charged, but we're using the suffix there to determine, you know, if it's the charged icon or the uncharged, because the charged is the fill image. So we're gonna dupe that, and then we're gonna go on here and do uncharged. Ugh! Sorry. Go onto that. Saturation 0. Save. Close that. Bing bang bosh. Bob is your uncle. And we go back to the defensive ability. So it's going to be charge, uncharged. And then that is going to be that. And then we can just see how that looks in the scene. So I know at the moment they're quite detailed images and they're a lot smaller size than they're actually created at. So because it's been kind of scaled down, it's looking like that. But I'm going to, like I say, when I design these and actually create them in Photoshop, I'll be creating them at the actual proper scale, so they will look much better basically. But just for testing functionality, if we go to the percent here, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Alright, so by default those will be on 1. Bear with me. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Right, so both of those progress bars are set to 1%. So they're in place there. If I go to here and go to my ability, so set the value. This is in Unity, so you set the value, so custom, set the value. Oh, set the value, okay. Right. So we're going to need to say that's a variable because we're going to be needing to read those and set the percent. 0 to 1. Let's just say that's a variable and that's a variable. Go to the graph, set the reference. So we've got the that's the sliders. And then if I close the player blueprint, and I think the guys wanted me to do it in the nights. Okay. Right, so if we're in the night, we want to say if the player, hold on, put that up there. Right, so this is going to be the tricky bit. So if on event construct, that's correct. So when this is drawn to screen, basically these icons, depending on the level, depending which level is active, depends which icons are shown. But the slider the functionality is going to be the same. So it's going to be background image, fill image, background image. So the offensive is the left, defensive is the right. So offense, defense, and it's background image, fill image, style, background image, background image, Interesting. This is the problem working in Unity. It's like, I know I'll be able to grab that function. Style. Right. So progress bar style. Let's look for that. Progress bar. Style. That doesn't seem right. Shouldn't need to be cast into that. It's right in here. We've set that as a variable. Style. Set background image. Wow, I feel like I'm having dev block. What the hell? Oh, I can't believe it. That was it. style. It's not going to be that, is it? Set style, that doesn't seem right. Background image, fill image. Background image, fill image. Right, what is the right style? Background image. Dude. Bloody hell, I just want to target that. This has been a right pain in the arse. Style. Style. Hold on, why is there two styles? Why is there two styles? Style. Set bar fill style. Set style. This can't be this bloody complicated, can it? Surely not. Not that. Read the value. It's not that. Is it not like set image? Fuck me. Right, we're getting somewhere. Bloody hell. Right. Okay. So, background image, fill image. Background image, fill image. Background image. Offensive background image. If I copy that, there we go, uncharged. So that's the background, and then if I copy that and then fill, okay. Right. So when the HUD is drawn to screen, this is for if it's medieval. So my God, what are we gonna do? get current level name. Oh. Okay. Get the current level name. Okay. Right, so if right, so when the HUD is drawn to screen, we draw it to screen, but when it's drawn to screen, we're getting the name of the current level. If the level is so if the name of the level equals that exactly, then if it's that, you would do that, and then sorry, I've got OCD, they need to be the exact same size. Sorry. OCD, baby! Oh, that's going to be a bugger, isn't it? It's right where... Oh my god. Right, so the background for defensive is going to be that. So background is uncharged, charge uncharged, and then this one is gonna be that one. Charge, charged. So then, if it's false, what we'll do, we don't have the levels done yet. I don't have the icons for the other ones yet. What we're doing is we need to get the medieval level kind of up and running. So what I'll do is I can put in the code. That's false. Not really any way you can make this sexy, is it? Not unless... There's no way. You're not really going to look good, are you? Either way. Oh, God. Unless we did. I mean, that's a little bit more easy on the eyes, isn't it? That's about as sexy as we're going to get it. Okay, so so when the HUD is drawn to screen, which if I go into the player blueprint, the HUD is drawn. Draw HUD. Where's game start? Oh, God. Oh my God. Where's event tick? Jesus. Dude. Event tick. No, it's begin play. Event begin play is what I'm looking for. Oh, where have you gone? Where have you gone? Event begin play. Event begin play. Right, so that draws the HUD there. So event begin play for the player parent class. That draws the HUD. So when this is drawn, so basically each time we go to a different level, this gets constructed. So when the HUD is drawn to screen, we're getting the name of the current level. If it's medieval, true. We set the style of the offensive ability. So I've not actually done this before in Unreal. I've not had to kind of create icons, chargeable abilities. I've done it in Unity. But sorry, I've got the hiccups. So yeah, so this is new to me, making a slate brush and all this malarkey. But that handles the what's been drawn to these images within the style. So basically, when we have, at the moment it's the medieval level, but when we have the jungle and the World War One, we would basically have, oh my god, we'd have icons for those that they would change. But the functionality of how it feels, the percentage, will be the same. When a player presses a button to use the ability, it's used. We say it's not usable, and then when it's charged, it's usable. So what we'll do is get the levels. So there won't be a HUD for the bedroom. So if we get Warzone, Warzone. So if the name is Warzone and true, do that. At the moment, the image is going to be none. So draw as image none. None. Okay, so none. So basically, once I've created the assets for those, then we need to come in here and just change those. So I can do the same on here. So none, and then none. Save, compile, save, and then if I copy that and that, that's pretty much in line. There we go. So if it's medieval, do that. If it's Warzone, do that. If it's jungle, no, not the music genre. If it's jungle, I'll do that. Okay. Nice and tidy. So if it's medieval, set the icons, the images in the ability icons to that. If it's Warzone, set them to that. If it's jungle, set them to that. Save that. So that's the abilities on there. Right. So what we now need to do is have a drink of my coffee. Oh my god. Okay. Right, so now what we need to do is, bear with me 1 second. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Sorry, I just need to check Discord quickly. Right, so this is input action tag. Okay. Right, so basically these two little, what I might do, I might temporarily just put on I want to get a knight's helmet. We know that's the portrait. Right, so when the player... Right, this is where we're going to now be hopping into Unity to look at the code. So when the player presses the action button, right, so let's just save that. And set the value, set the slider, set the progress bar, set the value. So you want to cast to the HUD. The HUD is being created by BP player, and the other ones are children classes of this. These are variables there. Percent 1. Offensive bar percent. Okay. Get the percent. So the percent will be from the player character. So when the player, it's like I need to have right, we know that the percent, oh my god, where is it? Why can't, oh, it's because I've got that. Okay, so we know it's a float from 0 to 1. So okay, so in here, if I just make a variable and call it offensive ability percent, float, compile, and that will be 1, and then defensive ability percent, do it as 1. If I actually, I wonder if it'll let me use the symbol. I don't know if that's advisable, but I'm not getting any errors there. Alright, so offensive ability percent, defensive ability percent. So it's set to 1. That's the default value. So when we push the button, and the button should be E, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to move my Discord. There we go. Okay, so right. So when we push the attack ability, we're going to need another variable as well, because in here, if I go to my player character in Unity, player ability animation, ability ready. So I've got heal ready, ability ready, and I believe that's a Boolean, ability ready. Ability ready, yeah, okay, so that's how we're controlling it. Ability active. Ability ready. Ability ready. Start the timer, okay. Ability ready is ability active. Right. Sorry guys, I know I'm hopping between Unreal and Unity, but it's just for the code. So offensive ability ready, Boolean. So by default it's going to be yes. So we're going to get, so we're going to do an if. So the check is offensive ability ready? And we know by default it is, because the float is at 1. So we're going to say if we push it, if we push it, if we push that button and this is ready, then we do the action, which would need to be coded by the programmers, but I'm going to put in the code which will handle the way that the percent is done. So we're going to set that to 0. So we're going to set that to 0 if true. Actually, hold on. Right. So if it's available, we press our button. It will use the ability. So then we need to say it's not ready. And then we're going to set that to 0. And then we're going to do a timer. Set timer. Or wait, maybe? Timer. Oh, it's been a while since I've done this. Timer. So I need Unreal's equivalent of this, because what I want to do is set a timer, and then during the tick I want to fill the percentage bar. Oh my god, that's what I mean. It's been a while since I've been in Unreal, so just remembering the the functions. I'm sure it was like called delay or wait. No. I'm going to query this with AI and just say, what is Unreal Engine's equivalent? Unity's timer, no, individual scripting. Timer. No. Set timer by event. That's not that. So we wait for 10 seconds. Delay 10 seconds after done. I'll tell you what, let's just see if this works. So we delay for 5 seconds and then after 5 seconds we set that to 1 and we set that and then what we want to do is so when we press that, we set that to 0. After 5-second delay, we set it to 1 and we say that that's available. So then within the widget blueprint here, where we're on the offensive ability, BP player character. But the code is within the BP player knight. This is the annoying thing. You want to get the child, right, so because I'm doing this on here, that's why I feel like it needs to go on the BP player. Because this code here is going to be the same across all 3 player characters. I know I can't work on that at the minute, so if I unless you've got children, would we be able to get the children of that? Theoretically. Child actors. Sorry guys, that's YouTube. Oh, it's actually skipping the adverts, I think. Bear with me. Oh, fantastic. Get all child actors. That's not right, is it? So get that, but then class character. Yeah, the I mean, the BP player isn't going to be in the scene, it's going to be BP player night. But it should somehow inherit from that. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to read that though. I can put this all in the program as well, have to shift it around, but for the time being, if I go back up here, create PC medieval, player night, object reference, and then sorry, player character. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this cast BP player. So we're going to cast to player night, BP player night. That. So set PC medieval. Yeah, okay, and then that would also go in there. Cost player night. Right, so what I will do is I'll just plug this into this and do that. And then if I go on to here and do this, get that, and then we're going to get the offensive ability. And then whatever that is, set that to that. So if I should be able to test that. So when I push E, that should. Hold on, why is that one? Percent. Why is that not? That's not the button, is it? Right, I don't think this is actually set up yet. Okay. User settings, player mappable key settings. I don't want to mess around with that, but what I can do is I'm just curious. So at the moment that is 0, and I think that's because I've not plugged that bit in. So instead of that, I'm going to do keyboard event, keyboard E. There we go. And then that's going to turn colour. Excellent. You see that at the top left, guys? So you can see that there, the icon. I'm spamming it. Excellent. Right, so basically this wasn't working because it's not been set up yet. So that does that, and then for this one, so offensive ability and defensive ability. Okay, now it's in colour. But then what we want to do is we want to say, whilst that's okay. Right, so programmers will need to put that stuff on this character, the variables. So you press E, we do that, and then during the delay, I'm sure there is something where we have something similar to this. This is Unity. I'm sure it's been so long, I can't remember. It's really annoying. Sorry, bear with me, guys. So E is that. Left shift. So we're going to create a variable called, so we've got OA for offensive abilities, it's going to be DA ready, and then by default that is going to be on. So we're going to have a if, and this is going to be on there. Is that ready? So we're going to say is defensive ability ready, and then we're going to set that to no, it's not ready. If that is ready, we do that, and then we're going to set that to 0, and then we're going to do a delay. say 5 seconds as well. And then we're going to set DA to 1. And then we're going to set DA ready. God, I barely drink when I'm working in engine. So set DA to 0 after the delay. We set it back to 1. Okay. Okay, right, that is showing now, but what we want to do now is timeline, that was it. Just out of curiosity, oh my god. It's like whilst it's ticking, I don't think that's going to do it, but we can see. No. Delay for 5 seconds. I mean, it's working. This is working. These are showing it, but we want to show the fill over that duration. I think. No, that's not right. This is so annoying. Set that to that, the delay. Right, the abilities are in there working. It's just I want to have, whilst the delay is happening, this fills. Tiny bit annoying that I can't remember. I know the timeline. On the timeline, it has, like, if we if we did a timeline, and just called this like and then I remember you. Oh my god. Has it added a keyframe? We don't want an external curve. Float track. Forgotten how to add a key. Set that to 0, 0. And then you want to go to 5. Where is 5? You want to go to the last frame. If I go for time 5, no, time 1, time 0. If I add a key there and set the time to 5 and then the value to 1 and then do that, there we go. So over that time it goes from 0 to 1 over the length of 5 seconds. Oh! Ah! We have something. Right, so if I rename this to OA timer, and then new time. Well, the length of that is 5 seconds. So if I was to unplug that, plug that into there, plug that into there, on update do that, and then when it's finished do that. So E. Fuck yes! Oh. Okay, it didn't look like it did that. Finished. New time. New time. What is the new time part to do with? New time. Play from start. I guess you. I guess what you do is you maybe play it from the start. Okay. Alright, let's do a print string. Excellent, we got it working, guys. Yeah, baby! That's how we roll. Excellent. Perfect. We know that's working. So I can get rid of that and that. And bring this down. Okay, so do the timer, and why is that called template? So okay. So if we wanted to increase the length of the cooldown, I could basically say 10 seconds and set that to 10, and then it's going to be a longer cooldown. Yeah, okay. So 10 seconds. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered how to do that. Right, so we can get rid of this one. So we're going to do, what was it called? Timeline, wasn't it? So this is going to, so that's the OA timer. So OA, this is going to be DA timer. And we'll plug that in there. Play from start. Let's move that there. That's going to get unplugged from there. So that one is 10 seconds. So I'll do the same. Actually, the offensive ability, if the offensive ability is 10 seconds, I feel like the defensive one is a more, the defensive ability is kind of like, you use it, you dart through enemies and you're immune to damage. So I feel like that should have a longer cooldown as opposed to this one. So if this is 10, I feel like the other one should be 20, because you want to keep it. Obviously this is liable to change or likely to change during playtesting. So if I open this one up, we're going to add a new track and we're going to set this to 20 and we're going to call this OA time. So this is going to be DA timer. So DA timer. Yep, okay. So over 20 seconds, so we're going to add a float. We're going to set that to 0, and then we're going to add another one, and we're going to set that to 1, and that's going to be at frame 20. And then if we do that, we can see that over the course of the timeline from start, it starts at 0, and then when we get to the end, it's going to be set to 1. So if we save that and then close that, We're going to say on update, we're going to get the timer and set that to that. And then do that there. And then when it's finished, we're going to do that. Compile, save. So now, if I was to test this, if I press E and then left shift immediately after, the offensive icon on the left hand side is going to be twice as fast as the other one, and you'll be able to see that. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, that's awesome. So it's so lovely just to see something so simple just function. It's just, I love it. Okay. And then what you could have, you could even have like a little, almost like a little bit of an outline to say if percent equals 1. I might actually do that because that's going to give a nice feedback to the player, because yeah, it's great when it's in colour, but because of the way it feels, it's basically using the same image, one's saturated, the other's in colour. So by the point that that icon has reached, as it's filling, it may appear full, but there might be like a small smidgen where it's still filling. So what we could do is, oh, I'm really happy that's working. It's so, honestly guys, it's the simplest things. It's just so rewarding to see them working. Can we do like an outline? Fill image. I don't even know if you can. I mean, both of them, they work. They do the job. Yeah. Can we give that an outline? I don't know if we can, you know. So we can't give that. can't really... I need a timeline in here. No. So you can do timelines in here, but you can't do a timeline within the widget blueprint. Okay. But there is animations. You can do animations. It's just like it might be nice to have it with a yellow outline. So when it's fully charged, like it just has a very subtle yellow outline to indicate it's ready to be used. But yeah, I mean that functions, does the job. Right, I think what I'm going to do, guys, I did want to grey box the level, but I mean I've got to be up for uni tomorrow, and I don't know how long the grey box could take. A while, and I mean we've got the icons on there, which looks really cool, so that's one job done. I mean we could, I'll tell you what, let's make a start. Let's make a start with the we'll make a start with it. We won't be able to finish it. Give me 1 second. Bear with me, guys. Okay, let's just quickly give this a caption. Okay, so programmers, when they've got this, the key buttons set up for these, that can be removed and that can be plugged in there, because basically E should be linked to this. And that's all good. And like I say, press E, initiates cooldown, and the icons fill over the duration of that time. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. Alright, what do we need to do? Right, so in the level, we're going to put in some things. Now, it's been a little while since I've done this. Can we set the perspective? Can you do orthographic? Similar to... Oh. Well, I don't want to do that. So the y-axis is that way. Hold on. The player starts facing left. Viewport 1, right. If I close that and then go to level medieval, window, viewport 1, window, viewport 2. Window, viewport 3. Let's go for that one. And then that can go down the bottom. No, sorry, that should be there. Oh my god. There we go. So the player is that way. Oh, it's a bit hard to gauge. What way is it facing? Right, okay. That's really confusing. If I just whack this in there. Right, so even though the player starts there, he's actually facing the other direction. Okay. Right, so we're going to have some stairs. So what we want to do is get the player start position. So on 0, 0, so that should be 0 and 0. Okay. Oh, that's good. So F focuses on the object, similar to Unity on Blender. Okay, so if I do that as 100, so it's 250 actually. So now the player should, they're dead center. Okay. Facing that way. Perspective. Top. Bottom. Left. Right. That's what we want. Ugh! That I've got selected there. What is that? Landscape, okay. Let's go lit, there we go. And then we'll do that one. What are they? Are those the vertices? Alright, so okay, so this is the side, top down. We just go perspective. We've got like a plane. So if that's 250, can we snap? Snapping. Minus 105. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create some very basic materials. Ah. Oh, it's selecting individual faces. How do I select all of those? Oh my god, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. Select objects, Q. Oh, that's a pain in the arse. I don't understand this. I want to select all of that. There has to be, surely. How? I feel like I'm having a blonde moment. I need to select all of those. Control A, no. Oh my god, dude. This is ridiculous. I just need to select all. What is going on here? What? That's dungeon wall. That's dungeon. Surely there is a way I can just select all of these faces. Select geometry. select all. There we go. Display two materials. Well, there shouldn't be two materials. Oh, interesting. Why is it not letting me? What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna get the lights. I feel like I've dicked around too much with the light. I'll just leave it as it is at the moment. Right, so if we've got the stairs there, we're going to need some more stairs. However, so that's the landscape, so player characters there. We're going to need an arch, so if I drop in that, and if I copy the location and paste that there, bring it up. If we move this one back, so 0, yep, and then scale it times 2, and the height to 2. Oh, actually no, just do 1. What's the height on that? There we go. Let's create a doorway. So if I put a sphere, whoa! Holy smokes, that's strange. Tell you what we'll do is, if we just do a square, copy the location of that one, paste the location in there, and then we're going to have that subtract. Just go to 0.8. You're too big, dude. You're too big. So let's do that to 2 then. Put that there. Get our that one. So that's going to need to be 1. So that'll basically be the door frame. So now what we can do is scale that to 0.2 and bring that there. Okay. If I scale this, what's the height on that one? 2. So if I do 2 on that one, bring that up, and then scale that to 5 maybe. Then what we could do, if we copy that and move that one to there, ooh, there's a naughty little gap over in the corner there, I think. What is that little dot? They're the exact same. Interestingly, that right side doesn't have it. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll paste that, let's copy those two. Bring that over here. What is this one? It's just, that's the back. Right top. Okay, top. Here we go. Okay. I think that's enough of a step. And then we're gonna need a kind of courtyard area, so what I'll do is I'll drop in a box and we're gonna on the what's the position on that one, so -100. Is that right? No, 0. And then we'll scale this to, I don't know, 2. Maybe 5. Let's bring it down a tad. need that wall. So basically these are the dungeon. You break out, you go up the the ladders into the open plain. And then you'd need like cubes to represent the stairs. This would have like sedimentary. So if we copy, oh fuck, I've done it again. I want to copy that one. So we're going to bring this up. So it's basically there. There we go. And then you'd have like, you'd have the battlements and stuff out here in the courtyard. What is that? The Y. So if we went 10, that feels like quite a nice size. What I can do, guys, I'm just actually going to close my other project. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. So this is full on, baby. I'm sure there's a snapping option somewhere. I am sure there has to be a snapping option. There has to be. Right, so we've got the kind of open section there. And then we could have that kind of... We need to make these walls bigger, really. Because as you ascend the torture, let's just make these. What was that? 680? No, 980. 65. Okay. So I'll just leave that with the dungeon square stairs on there. So you come out of the dungeon and then have this courtyard area. Maybe let's do that. So what's the scales? 10, 10. So if I did 10 on there, and if we set that position to 0, no. Minus 100. That's annoying. There has to be a hotkey for snapping. There has to be. Where's the toolbar? I genuinely can't see. Ah, here we go. Enable actor snapping. So under settings. Well, I mean, that's not an actor, it's an object, isn't it? Let's just turn that on, enable Oh, you bastard. Okay, so that one went well, but it kind of... Okay. Right, let's have a look here. So, dungeon escape. Come out into the courtyard area, fight a few guards, and then have a big gateway over here. So we'll do that. We're going to select that one and that one. And what one's this? That's top down. So on the side. There it is. So we're going to copy that. We're going to paste it, and then we're going to move that over here. And we're going to make that thicker. So if I do on the X, we'll go 0.5. Actually, I'm going to go 0.8. I'll go 0.8 there too. But the scale on that, we're going to make it 2. And we'll make the height of that 3. Then that should be 2.2. No, let's go 3 on that one. I remember there being a there we go, modelling. That was it. There we go. So yeah, that was it. Don't really want to do that. What have I done? Right, you're being a little bit naughty. You need to get back on the edge. So there we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to call the stream soon, guys, so I've got to be up early. But we have like okay, yeah, that's where we need to. That's where the camera's going through the object there, and with the normals. If we want to have that slope down. God, it's been ages since I did the geometry tool. I mean, this is literally just bog standard, like very basic platforms. Yeah, then you'd have it slope down. If we were to add a slope in there, you would get the box and rotate it. That would be a way to kind of cut it. Anyway, I am gonna call the stream there, guys. So we've got the we've coded the ability icons there, top left. So top left, we've got those functioning. They look quite cool how they fill up. I'm happy with that. And yeah, we've just got a bit of a more of an open space for people to test mechanics and things. So I am going to call the stream there, and I was going to do some modelling, but I think I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some modelling in Blender for my spaceship game. I'll do some more work on the interior of that. If you enjoyed this stream, guys, feel free to follow on Twitch to stay up to date. If you want to see any other previous streams I've done, go check out my YouTube below. I've got stuff for Unreal, Unity and Blender, and if you want to play any of the games I've made, I've got a link to my itch channel as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next stream.